Well, good morning, everyone. You know, it's been more than a few years since I was a student in elementary school or middle school, but I know that when you're a student, it's important to be well prepared. So how many of you students would consider yourself to be a well-prepared student? Okay, well, quite a few. That's good. Now, I don't want to brag, but when I was in school, I considered myself to be a well-prepared student. Yes, I was well-prepared for the bell. The bell for recess, the bell for lunch, the bell to mark the end of the day. When that bell rang, I was ready. The trouble is that when I was focused on the bell, I wasn't focused on the lesson. I wasn't engaged in what was going on in the classroom, and as a result, I didn't have the best study habits, and I wasn't as good of a student as I could have been, and I didn't learn as well as I could have. So sure, I learned some things. I was present in the classroom, but I could have done better. And then there was the little detail of the report card. Right? When I would get my report card, I'd have to sit down with my mom and dad and explain my conduct, right? And have an account of my conduct and how that would affect the report card. If that conversation went well, I mean, if I had good conduct, if I conducted myself well, the conversation would go well. And if I conducted myself poorly, it might not have gone a little poorly. You see, I didn't realize at that time that the best way to prepare for that bell is to be engaged, to be fully engaged in what was going on in the classroom. To pay attention to the lesson and to learn well. Because the things that I would learn in the classroom would prepare me for success after the bell rang. Now, in the gospel that we just heard, Jesus gives us a parable about the importance of being prepared for the coming of the Son of Man, for his return. Being prepared for that day that we would meet the Lord face to face. Now, Jesus uses some examples with masters and servants and some other wacky stuff that is really kind of hard to relate to in the 21st century. But it really comes down to conduct. Right? The way that we conduct ourselves in this life will prepare us for the next life. And so we can ask, how do I conduct myself? Do I conduct myself with prayer, with kindness, with compassion and mercy towards others, with acts of service, going to Mass, going to confession? These are kind of the things that Jesus has given us to help to guide our conduct, so that when on that day, when we meet the Lord face to face, we're going to be asked to account for our conduct. Just like when I meet my mom and dad about my report card, I'm asked to account for my conduct. And if I had conducted myself well, that conversation with the Lord would go well. And if I had conducted myself poorly, it might go poorly. And so today, as we come together to celebrate the most holy sacrifice of the Mass, let us ask the Lord for the grace of good conduct and for the courage to recognize when our conduct may be getting off track a little bit, to seek forgiveness and get back to that good conduct, so that on that day when we are going to make an account, that it will go well.